It's working. Hey, everybody. Hey, happy World Read
Hi.
Aloud. It's
How are you guys?
happy World Read Aloud Day. I'm here at Jen Lowry Writes with two of my sweet author friends. We've got Michelle Derosier.
Hi
Hey,
guys.
Michelle. And
Excited to be here.
we've got Rachael Clarke. She's
Hello.
here with us today.
Hello, everyone.
And we are going to rotate in and out, and we are going to share things about us, our books, and what we love. And we are going to start with Michelle Derosier. So bye. We'll see you in a second. Y'all don't go anywhere.
No. Bye. Well, hey guys. Okay, I am super thrilled to be participating in World Read Aloud Day. So I am Michelle Derosier. I write culturally diverse books for kids to adults. So what that means is I write stories with people that look like my family and friends. So I am Haitian, and I like to include my Haitian culture. So today I will be reading from Ruby Bridges' book, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But one of the kid stories that I write is a Happy Harper series. And Happy Harper is this amazing, quirky little girl. She's 5 years old, and she's just curious about everything. And she is a huge fan of a pet chicken. Like, she wants her parents to give her a pet chicken so much. But they don't give it to her yet. So she's part of a series. And the first book is her being reunited with her grandfather. So her grandfather has lived in Haiti all of her life. And now he's finally coming to Brooklyn to live with the family. So we get to see how Harper prepared for her grandfather's arrival. We get to see her get all his favorite food. So Grandpa loves pineapple upside down cake. He loves it. So Harper's gonna help Mom make a pineapple upside down cake. And she's just really excited to be there. So we know this year has been really hard because we are separated from our loved ones. So imagine if all your life you couldn't see your grandparents, or you couldn't see your favorite cousins or your uncles. So Harper, when you finally get to see them, when she finally gets to see her favorite grandfather, her only grandfather, she's just excited and she's thrilled. So I can't wait to share this book with you guys. It comes out in September on Grandparents' Day, so look out for it. There will be a pre-order soon. But tonight, I'm sharing a different kind of book with you guys, and it is this one. So it is Ruby Bridges, Get to Know the Girl Who Took a Stand for Education. So this was one of my absolute favorite stories to write, partly because it was a real story based on a real little girl, Ruby Bridges, who was the first Black child to integrate, meaning that it was a white school and she was a Black child. She was the first Black child to go to that school. And I loved it so much because she was only 6 years old. And it shows you that no matter what age you are, you can make a difference. So, you can stand up if your friend is being bullied. You can stand up if you see something that you don't like and you want to change it. Your age does not matter. You have so much power, and this book is so helpful to remind you to use your voice and to make this world a good place. So I'm going to read a little bit from Ruby Bridges, and we're going to read just the beginning story. So to remember that she will be the first Black child to integrate, to mean come into a school where there are no other Black children. And some people are just not happy about it. Silly, right? I know. But we're going to see just a little bit about all of the people not being happy about her first day. But remember what I said, that there is courage. You have a voice that even at 6 years old, you can change things. So although we're going to see the first day where people are not happy, remember that Ruby has changed history just by being herself and going to school. So I'm going to read a little bit for you. So I'm reading on page 4, and it's called The First Day. There were no happy faces to welcome 6-year-old Ruby Bridges to her first day at William Frantz Elementary School. But there were federal marshals and a crowd. 2, 4, 6, 8, we don't want to integrate, the crowd chanted. Some of them threw things at Ruby and her mother, Lucille. Others tried to block the entrance to the school. Ruby made it through the doors, but it wasn't much better when she got inside. No students talked to Ruby. No teachers welcomed her to class, and parents pulled their children out of school throughout the day. Over 500 kids left school that day, Ruby said later. So now we're on page 5. Until November 14th, 1960, William Frantz had been an all-white school. Ruby was the first African-American student to attend. She didn't understand it at the time, but she would become the symbol to the United States that all children, regardless of their race, deserve equal education. So I'm going to stop here because I just wanted to stop to remind you, again, this was a little 6-year-old girl who had the courage, the bravery to just do what she needed to do, which was go to school. Unfortunately, there were people who did not like it, but thankfully, Ruby and her family kept going and kept fighting for the things that are good. And because of her, we see changes that would not have happened. So I encourage you, as a 6-year-old, as a 7-year-old, as a 5-year-old, as a 15-year-old, as a 50-year-old, however your age, whatever your age, that you can make a difference. And as we're celebrating Black History Month this month, I just want to especially encourage you, as the Black faces in your schools and your playground with your other friends, to stand and hold your head up proud, because you have so many amazing women and men like Ruby Bridges who are part of your history, who are part of your story, who have changed this country for the better. And I know that you're going to do the same. So I'm super proud of you guys. And I hope that you would be able to pick up Ruby Bridges. And I would love to hear what you think. And I would love to hear what it sparked for you on what you can change in your school, in your neighborhood, in your, wherever you are. How can you make a difference? So I am all over the internet, writer Derosier. So ask your parents, ask your grandmas, ask your aunts, your family, if you want to reach out. I'd love to hear, what are you doing to change the world? I'd love to hear it. So writer Derosier, just reach out to me and let's talk. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. So we're going to pass it over now to Jen Lowry, who's going to jump in and share her story. But before I go, I just remembered I wanted to share a couple of books that I didn't write, but are some of the books that I'm really enjoying right now. So one of them is Ruby Bridges' story, written by Ruby Bridges herself. So it's called This Is Your Time. And she tells the story from her own perspective. And I absolutely love it because I love when people get to tell the stories that are theirs. So she is telling the story that I wrote from the research that I did. She's telling it from her perspective. A couple of other books that I'm really enjoying right now. So this one is called Lenny the Last Lightning Bug. And it is by Allison Hendricks. And it's just this adorable story of a little girl and the lightning bug who the summer is ending. And he is on his way, and just this journey of being separating from his best friend, and not knowing are they going to come back. But it is such a lovely story, and I highly encourage you to pick up Lenny the Last Lightning Bug. And a couple of other ones that I am enjoying. Ivy and the Lonely Rain Cloud by Kate Harnett. So cute. And If Winter Comes, Tell It I'm Not Here. And it's by Simona Ciriallo. Also so cute. So I love children's stories. And you can check out happyharperbooks.com. On the blog, we have several blogs about favorite children's stories, different types of children's stories that you and your family can enjoy. Okay. Again, look forward to hearing from you. Reach out, ask your parents to reach out, write a Derosier, and let me know how you are going to be changing the world in your own way, the way that Ruby changed the world in her own way. All right, guys, can't wait to talk to you. Jen, you want to jump in?
Hooray! Look, I have my copy. Look, she slid it over. I got it. So thank you so much, Michelle Derosier.
No problem. All right, guys. Bye.
So, all right, guys, if you have not had your copy of Ruby Bridges, Get to Know the Girl Who Took a Stand for Education, absolutely love this book. So now I get to talk a little bit more about a book that I wrote. So my name is Jen Lowry, and I've written over 20 books. I've written books for children, middle grades, young adult, and adults. And the one that I wanted to feature for you guys tonight was My Fly Felix Me, My First Job. The reason why this book is super special to me is because I tried my hand at illustrating for the very first time. And I've always secretly loved to draw, but I've never taken any classes. I will not say that my drawings are going to change the world, but I will say I had so much fun drawing Felix, what was in my head, onto the paper. So I want to share a little bit about Felix with you guys. So I'm going to show the dedication page here. Dedicated to my children, there is never a problem we can't solve together. So I'm going to hold the book up so you can see. There's Felix. Hi, my name is Felix. I'm so glad you're here. This is my friend Lucy. She's having trouble. Can you help me teach her how to fly? I need a co-pilot. Oh no, Lucy. When we turn the page, come on in. They're hiring. Look, there's a job application just for you. So you have to learn all your important information to fill out this form. And you'll need a magnifying glass to read all of the fine print way down here. You passed the first test. Now for the interview. I ask questions. You answer them, you're hired. You might want to dress nice for this. Here's your interview questions. Why do you want to be a fly? Who do you admire most? Describe yourself in 3 words. You are a lucky kid. This is everyone's dream job. If I could get paid $1 every time someone says, I wish I were a fly on the wall, then I'd be the richest insect in the whole entire universe. And since my hand can't reach through the page, don't ask me why, shake hands with the person nearest you. Make it a firm one. No spaghetti hands. Go ahead and shake hands. You are hired. It's official. You're working with Felix and Company, where helping insects is never a job too small. There are dangers to this job. I must warn you, you could end up in a pickle, or at least a pickle jar, and be trapped forever. Ask my friend Joe. Oh, wait, you can't. He's trapped forever. I'll stop here so you can mentally prepare yourself. If you need to take notes for the following lesson, grab a pencil and paper. I'll wait. There are 3 rules. Memorize them. You must pass a test to start. I have faith in you. You'll do fine. Rule number 1. Beware of frogs. I can't even begin to describe the horror. Oh, a cute bird. He's waving. He's singing. He's so nice. Wrong. Rule number 2, stay clear of birds. Life will never be the same. Trust me. Ask Charlie. Oh, sorry. I forgot. You can't. And I will stop there, and then you can keep reading, and you can find out what rule number 3 is and pass the test to see if you can jump right into the book and help Lucy learn how to fly. All right, guys. So that is My Fly Felix Me, which is going to be a children's book series. I've already written book 2. I just have to work on the illustrations. And a lot of times people ask me, well, if you're not an artist, how did you actually just get all of that here? How did you get it from your head to the paper to the book? So I want to talk with you just about a couple of tools that I used. First, I used canva.com, and I built a page, and I set it up 8.5 times 8.5. You can go in and you can build blank white pages just like these. And you can type text all in the pages, and you can create your own book. I also got a tablet, and I didn't know really how to use it, so I'd watch a lot of YouTube videos. So it came with a pen, and I started to draw out, and all of a sudden, Felix was born. And I said, oh, this is Felix. He looks perfect to me. And so this is my Felix. I am so, so happy. And that is Lucy. And what was really cool about the tablet, that I started to make the shapes, and they would make the circle. Trust me, guys. That clear circle right there, I had a guided pen with me. And when I would start, the circle popped up, and I said, oh, I get to color it. So I changed the color, and I used my pen, and after it was over, I said, well, how do I get it from my tablet to a book? How do I get it onto a blank page? So guess what I did, guys? I screenshot my computer picture, just like that. And I know there's plenty of ways that you can make your own book, but that's how I made mine. And I screenshot the image, and I popped it over, and I cropped it, and I cut it. I used my phone, and I did a scan, and I would send them to my emails, and I would pop them in. And that is how I actually created my first illustrated book. So look here, My Fly Felix Me. My first job has been written and illustrated by me. And I absolutely had the best time with this book. So I want to share with you guys some of my favorite books that I've been reading. Look, 5 stars. I've already read it. And we have got Rachael Clarke here with us, the author of The Big Old Bike. So I'm super excited that you get to meet her. So this is on my bookshelf, guys. Already read it. Ruby Bridges, already read it. You know how I feel. And look, I'm not borrowing Michelle's copy. I've got my own. This is Lenny the Last Lightning Bug. And I've got to tell you, my friend Allison Hendricks did an amazing job. And I want to give you a secret. Do you see the girl in the pictures that she drew? That is based on her daughter, Molly. So I absolutely love Winnie the Last Lightning Bug. I want you guys to tell me some books that you're currently reading right now. I would love to hear from you. You can find me all over the internet at Jen Lowry Writes. And you can email me, jenlowrywrites@gmail.com, and you can send me your pictures. You can talk with me about how you're working on your stories and share them with me. And I would be so happy, and I would reply and say, congratulations, let's talk books, because that's one thing that I love to talk about. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed our happy World Read Aloud Day. And now I'm going to pull in my dear friend, Rachael Clarke. Hey, Rachael.
Hello.
All right, Rachael, she's going to end the show, and she's going to talk about her book for middle grades, The Big Old Bike. But I will say, Rachael, 3rd and up. I'm going 3rd grade and up. And Nick, you can read this to the boys. They would love it. All right. Okay. I'm disappearing.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm so pumped to be here. It's World Read Aloud Day, and I get to read to you guys from my book, The Big Old Bike. So before we get to that, though, that's going to be the piece de resistance here. But before we get to that, I want to just tell you a little bit about myself and who I am, so you have an idea who's talking to you right now. So I grew up in a small city here in Manitoba, in Canada. If anyone doesn't realize where Manitoba is, I know some people don't. I've had that before. Super creative kid. I grew up drawing and painting and sculpting and writing little stories. I made my own little picture books. There's anything creative, I would do it. And I know there's lots of kids in this world that are just like that. So I was that kid. And then look at me now. The dream that I had to make a book a reality has come true. So just for you to know that your dreams can come true too. So from there, I did a bunch of things. I was a police officer for a while, and I had some kids, and I got married, all that stuff. And so now I'm chasing this dream, this old dream I had to be a writer and an illustrator. I actually once wanted to be an animator for Disney. I'm sure a lot of kids probably want to do that too. So that brought me to writing a bunch of stuff. So I'm working on a picture book. I'm writing and illustrating a picture book called Keep Mommy Safe, which hopefully going to be coming out in the next year. And I wrote this book, The Big Old Bike. Now, this book is pretty near and dear to my heart. It's all about finding confidence in the face of bullying. And I know a lot of kids struggle with bullying in school. It's around, we can't ignore it. It's there. And what's most important is finding ways to deal with it. And what I wanted to do, because I have 2 young boys, and when they get into school, I wanted to provide them with something that they can read to help boost their confidence too. And I think it's so important that kids are just feel happy about themselves, even if they're different. It's okay to be different. It's awesome to be different, because that's going to set you up for life. Being different can make you just go places. Believe me, when you're young, you don't realize that, but when you get older, you will. So this book is about a little guy named Oliver. He's a smaller than average kid, and he gets a really big, special old bike for his birthday from his grandfather. He loves it, absolutely loves it. But not everyone does. Actually, the biggest bully in school really doesn't like it, and they tease him even harder than they teased him before. So Oliver and his friends, he's got a couple of really great friends. They have to kind of band together, and they have to try and figure out how they can deal with this. Manage those emotions that they have, and have some adventures along the way. And Oliver's going to find out that, heroes can come in all different sizes, even small. So that's kind of what the big old bike's about. So let me read a little bit to you guys. And I'm not sure how much I can read, but I'll try and read some for you. Let's go. All right. So party time. Here's the very first page. Oliver lived in a cozy little house on a quiet street in a small town called Little Springs. He had a short, shaggy-haired dog named Tiny, who loved to cuddle. He also loved to bark like a pit bull, but hid in the hallway whenever the mailman came by. Everything about Oliver's life seemed to be small. His hat, his footprint, his bike. He wore small, round glasses to see better, which made the kids at school call him Bug Eyes. If that nickname wasn't bad enough, Oliver also got teased for being short and skinny for his age. He dreamed of riding big, beautiful thoroughbreds in the fanciest horse races someday, like the Kentucky Derby. Sometimes when he rode his bike around the neighborhood, Oliver liked to pretend he was galloping around a racetrack instead. Sitting on the back of a mighty steed, he'd rush toward the finish line, which was usually just a crack in the cement or a long shadow across the street. His dad said that horse riders, called jockeys, always needed to be small people, short and light. It was a perfect job for Oliver. "You have such an overactive imagination," his mom would always say. She'd ruffle his hair and Oliver would just smile. He didn't mind that fact at all. Imagining things was fun. One thing he really didn't like, though, was his bike. Oliver was small, but his bike was even smaller. He'd grown out of it last year already, and now he looked huge sitting on top of it. Normally, Oliver would love that, since he doesn't look huge very often. But this wasn't one of those times. The kids at school had started to tease him because it looked so silly. Plus, his knees kept hitting the handlebars, leaving purple bruises behind. He needed a new bike badly. But his parents said they couldn't afford one right now, so instead of letting himself get sad, Oliver grew determined. If his parents didn't have enough money, then he'd help them pay for it. He decided to save all his weekly allowance in a special jar he'd marked bike. And for extra good luck, each night before he drifted off to sleep, Oliver searched for the brightest star in the sky to wish upon. He'd squeeze his eyes shut, asking for a new bike. Oliver hoped with all his might that someday his wish would come true. I'll leave it there because if I start the next part, you're going to want to listen to more of it, and I just don't have enough time. But I'll show you the pictures. There we go. There's Oliver on his racehorse in his imagination. And then I'll show you the next picture too, even though we didn't get there. That's him. He gets the bike for his birthday. So that's the big old bike. I hope you guys liked it. And you know what? I really want it to give kids that confidence. I really want to impact kids' lives and make these characters, I wanted to make these characters relatable, like kids that they could go to school with, they could share a locker with, that they would see walking down the hallways. So consider grabbing it. If you want to hear more about the story, then pick it up and read it. And I'd love to hear from you, see it and hear if you liked it. Like, reach out to me. I'm everywhere, all over the place. RachelClarkeWrites.com. That's me. So feel free to let me know what you think if you do grab it. And I guess the other thing I wanted to, and while I have some time, I guess, is there anyone that has some questions before I get too distracted and talk about some other things? Let's see. I did draw my own illustrations. So this is watercolor. I'll talk about that. I use a program called Painter 19, and I use a drawing tablet, just like Jen had mentioned. So I do something very similar. I kind of do some digital drawing on the computer, as well as with good old watercolor and paintbrush. I got a question. Do you ride a bike? I do. I do. I love riding a bike. I have a big blue one, actually. Yeah, I put it together myself. It's actually in the garage. I'm super excited for spring to come around so I can get out there again. We're teaching our youngest boy how to ride his bike too, so it'll be a really fun summer. Yeah, so Also, just wanted to say, if anyone does dream of being an illustrator or doing comics or any of that stuff, follow the dream. Keep drawing. You can go to school for it. There's all kinds of things you can do for it. Follow the dream because it can definitely take you places. So before I sign off here, I thought I'd talk about a couple books. Now, I also write picture books, so I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite picture books because my kids are 2 and 4 years old. We read a lot of picture books in this house. But the other one I wanted to show you is from our lovely Jen Lowry. I wanted to show you her book here, and we're actually reading that with my oldest son right now. We're going through chapter by chapter called Ghoul's School. This is an awesome little book, let me tell you. It's got power packed full of pictures and fun graphics to look at, and it's super easy to read. It's a really fun little story. You know, these someone's terrorizing the school, you know, it's just such a great premise, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because that's something that we're into right now. And the other couple books I thought I'd mention is Good Night Construction Site. Now, I don't know if anyone's read this when they're young enough, or if there's anyone young enough to be reading this, but this is an amazing book. I love rhyme. I tend to write in rhyme, and this rhyme just rolls right off the tongue. The pictures are so colorful. Like it pops. Like we love it around here. My kids, we read this every single night for almost a year straight. So that's a book that I would definitely recommend. And the other book for anyone who loves rock, paper, scissors. Has anybody heard of rock, paper, scissors? Is that still a thing? It was a thing when I was a kid. This book here, The Legend of Rock, Paper, Scissors. It is so fun. It tells all about these major warriors having an epic battle, rock and paper and scissors. And it tells about their stories and how they have to seek out bigger competitors. And that because they're winning every battle they have until they come up against each other. And it's just an amazing little story and so fun. So if you have little ones that just love adventure and amazing pictures, the illustrator for this story is just wonderful. Then definitely pick that one up too. That's all I wanted to talk about, unless anyone has any questions about writing or illustrating for me. I didn't have a whole lot else to say. I hope that you enjoyed the part of the book that I read.
Hey, Rachel.
Hey.
So the big old bike, guys, love it so much. Nick is in our chat, and he said that the boys have it, and when you were starting to read, they went and pulled it out. So,
oh, good. That's wonderful.
That's great.
So, guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us for Happy World Read Aloud Day. We have one more question, and it was from Nick, and Nick wanted to know.
Nicholas asked it.
Yeah, Nicholas wanted to know, did you draw as a kid?
For me?
Yes.
I did a lot. I wish I had some of my old pictures. I have like an album full of old drawings. I was constantly drawing. I used to draw dogs and horses and landscape, like trees and stuff. I drew all the time. Pretty much since my hand could move, I was drawing. So definitely.
And you can see how wonderful her illustrations are, guys. If you've got the book at home, you can flip through and just see how beautiful the pictures are that Rachel illustrated and drew for the book. So,
yeah, right.
So we want to thank you guys for being here. We love you. Reach out to us. Let us know what you're reading. Send us your pictures, your drawings, your letters, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, Nicholas. Bye, Julius. Bye, Malachi.